if I told you that the fortune cookie has nothing to do with China? The real surprise is how history tried to erase the man that invented it. Let's rewind. You just finish your orange chicken, the server drops the bill, and there it is, the humble fortune cookie. You crack it open and it reads, "The truth you seek begins with a journey in the past." Our story begins in 1914, not in China, but in San Francisco, California, where a wave of Japanese immigrants were bringing new flavors, ideas, and cookies. But these weren't fortune cookies just yet. One of those Japanese immigrants was Makoto Hagiwara. He was the caretaker for the Japanese tea garden at the Golden Gate Park. But during that time, there was a rise of anti-Japanese sentiment, so he was fired from his job. With the help of some friends, he eventually got his job back, and to thank them, he baked sweet folded cookies with handwritten notes inside of them. He didn't know it back then, but he just baked the first ever fortune cookie in San Francisco. But Hagiwara didn't invent the idea out of thin air. He was inspired by something much older, a Japanese fortune cracker known as Sujiwara Senbei, a crisp treat dating back to the 1800s in Kyoto. The difference was these crackers were flavored with sesame and miso instead of vanilla and butter. Unlike modern fortune cookies, the paper fortunes weren't hidden inside, but they were tucked in the bend of the cracker.
Learn with me! Let's teach each other! Yay, learning!
These were often made with iron presses, a process still used in parts of Japan today. Okay, let's fast forward to 1915 at the San Francisco World Fair. Hagiwara's fortune cookies were served to visitors and proudly displayed. People absolutely loved them. Suddenly, bakeries all over California, both Japanese and Chinese, were folding up these cookies with fortunes inside. They filled them with proverbs, Bible verses, Confucius quotes, all neatly tucked into that buttery goodness. And for a while, everybody was enjoying their fortune cookies just like their Sunday horoscope.
Then give me one of them horoscope scrolls! Financial transaction benefits you today. Ooh, weird.
But then, history happened. After an attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941, Japanese Americans were rounded up and forced into internment camps.
When the Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor, our west coast became a potential combat zone. Military authorities therefore determined that all of them, citizens and aliens alike, would have to move.
Nearly overnight, entire communities disappeared, businesses vanished, and the bakeries that baked these cookies, gone. And with them, Hagiwara's name began to fade from memory. But then into the vacuum stepped these Chinese-American restaurant owners. They decided to pick up where the cookies left off and started making their own, and began serving them in Chinese restaurants across the country. And just like that, fortune cookies became a novelty in San Francisco Chinatown. Over time, people began to associate fortune cookies with Chinese takeout, even though they had nothing to do with China. Actually, if you visit China today, you'll be hard-pressed to find a fortune cookie at the end of your meal. They're about as Chinese as a cheeseburger. In fact, when fortune cookies were later introduced in China as a Western novelty, they completely flopped. Locals just didn't get the appeal. I mean, you could say the same thing about them introducing the Kinder Egg in the US. Different culture, same confusion. Turns out nobody likes a surprise in their mouth. But in America, though, fortune cookies kept growing. And by the 1960s, mass production has taken over, with machines churning out thousands of cookies per hour. The message inside, that evolved too. Once handwritten, now computers generate thousands of fortunes filled with jokes, advice, quotes, and even lottery numbers. Fun fact, in 2005, a set of fortune cookie lottery numbers led to 110 people winning the Powerball. That was a total of $19 million that was paid out thanks to those fortune cookies. Now that's what you call real fortune. Today, the vast majority of cookies are still made in the US, with millions produced daily. The biggest manufacturer, Wonton Food, produces over 4 million fortune cookies every single day. That's a billion cookies a year, made right here in the US of A. So the next time you crack open one of these cookies, know that it might not predict your future, but thanks to Makoto Hagiwara, you're taking a bite out of forgotten history. One crunchy, vaguely profound message at a time. And hey, if you ask me, that's a pretty sweet legacy.